The truth is, Aleister Crowley considered himself the most wickedest man in the world and called himself the Beast 666. He dedicated his entire life to darkness and wickedness and worshipped himself, considering himself a god. He was willing to lead an open rebellion against God until his death, and even after his death, he influenced many to imitate his way of life. Now he represents a symbol of freedom for some. Free from what, you may ask? Join me in this episode as we uncover the dark truth about Aleister Crowley. Who is Aleister Crowley? That is what you may be asking yourself right now. Why should you even care about this dead old Englishman? Well, I'll tell you the reason. Aleister was an occultist and a Satanist who practiced dark magic and is responsible for the sexual abuse of countless children. His satanic lifestyle has been praised by the biggest names in pop culture, influencing our modern times more than you may think. Crowley preached the same demonic message that Lucifer once did: do what thou wilt, which means do as you please and disregard the consequences. Crowley was no doubt the evilest man in the world. His evil started very young. His own mother used to call him the Beast and had a difficult time with his behavior. Both of Crowley's parents were Christians, but his father was more devoted to his religion, even being a traveling preacher. Crowley's parents were very wealthy, and the moment his father passed, when he was only 11 years old, he inherited a third of his father's wealth. This is what began to change Crowley, as he took his father's death poorly and he started misbehaving in school and would be kicked out. When he was in his young teen years, he would start to do drugs and indulge in prostitutes. This made his mom decide to move the two elsewhere, hoping this would help with his behavior, which it did not in the slightest. In 1987, Crowley experienced a brief illness which made him question his mortality. At the time, he was living in Russia and he was trying to pursue a political role. This illness is what changed him forever, as he swore from the moment on to dedicate his life to the occult. In 1989, Crowley got his hands on a book of spells called the Book of Black Magic and Pacts. This book furthered Crowley's fascination into black magic. This led Crowley to meet Julian L. Baker in 1898. Both had a devoted interest in alchemy, which they would normally discuss together. This led Julian to initiate Crowley into the Order of the Golden Dawn. The initiation took place in London's Mark Mason Hall. After this, Crowley would move close to that area and invite members of the order to live with them and be his magical tutor. The tutor taught Crowley more about ceremonial magic and ritual use of drugs, and together they performed the rituals of Gotia. Crowley would start going through the lower ranks of the Order of the Golden Dawn. When he would be initiated into the higher inner circles of the group, he met initial resistance with a member refusing him because he was too chaotic for the order. They did not like his bisexual lifestyle, so he traveled to another lodge in Paris where a friend initiated him into the lodge. After this, Crowley found himself traveling to Mexico City in the year 1900. This is where he became a Freemason. In 1903, Crowley would marry a woman named Rose, so she wouldn't be forced to go through an arranged marriage. Crowley then later fell in love with Rose, and in 1905, him and Rose would arrive in Cairo and proclaim themselves Prince and Princess. Rose and Aleister even had a child and named her Lilith. They rented an apartment and quickly turned it into a temple and began invoking ancient Egyptian deities. This is when Crowley states that Rose would become possessed and speak in tongues, telling him that they were waiting for him. In 1912, Crowley started calling himself Baphomet. What's very interesting is that Aleister Crowley has influenced many pop culture icons who themselves were very influential. For example, like the Beatles, Michael Jackson, Jay-Z, Ozzy Osbourne, just to name a few. A few years ago, a rapper, Ab-Soul from TDE, an affiliate to Kendrick Lamar, wrote an entire album dedicated to Aleister Crowley. He called the album Do What Thou Wilt. It is no coincidence that millions of children go missing to never be found again. All over the world, children are being trafficked and sold to members of these satanic occults. Just in 2010, the Kid Willie sex cult was discovered, and they were operating for decades in London and then Wales. They kidnapped and brainwashed children. Thank you for watching this episode of The Truth Is. Please leave a comment below on this video and on any future topics you would like to see me cover on my channel. If you like this video, please hit the like button. Please follow me on Instagram at TheTruthIs01 and on TikTok at TheTruthIs. I will gladly appreciate it. And I want to say a special thank you to all my Patreons. I truly appreciate all your support. Thank you so much. Goodbye.